You're lying in bed next to her. Lights off. Her face lit by the phone. Scrolling. You turn slightly toward her. Wait a second. Maybe she'll look up. She doesn't. You think about moving closer. Just a bit. Your hand shifts, then stops. Because you've done this before, you lean in. You try. And it ends the same way. I'm tired. Not tonight. Or she just keeps scrolling. Doesn't turn. Doesn't react. Nothing harsh. But clear enough. So now you stay still. You don't go first anymore. You wait for something from her. A signal. Anything that makes it safe. She laughs at something on her screen. Still scrolling. You think about saying something. You don't. Because if it goes nowhere again, you already know that feeling. That quiet drop. That small rejection that doesn't look like rejection, but feels like it. So you do nothing. And this becomes normal. Not one night. Not two. Over and over. You stop trying. Not because you don't want her, but because you don't want that feeling again. And slowly, you stop initiating completely. By the end of this, you'll understand why this keeps happening, even when nothing is wrong on the surface. You'll see what's actually going on in that moment when you choose not to move, and what it's quietly doing to you over time. Because this isn't just about sex. It's about what repeated rejection trains you to do. It changes how you act, how you think, how you show up around her. And if you don't see it clearly, you'll keep adjusting yourself without even noticing. But I'll warn you now, what's underneath this is not comfortable. Because the real problem isn't that she's rejecting you. It's what you've started doing to yourself because of it. It's not just at night. It shows up in small moments during the day too. You're in the kitchen. She's making coffee. You walk in. You think about coming up behind her, putting your hands on her waist, kissing her neck. You pause. Because you remember last time, she pulled away slightly, said, "I'm busy." So this time, you just grab a glass of water. Say nothing. You're sitting on the couch, watching something together. There's space between you. You notice it. You think about closing it, putting your arm around her. You wait. A few seconds. Then a bit longer. You tell yourself, if she wanted that, she'd move closer. So you stay where you are. And the space stays there. You send her a message during the day. Something light. A little playful. A hint. She replies hours later. Short. Neutral. Nothing wrong with it. But nothing inviting either. So next time, you don't send that message. You keep it basic. Logistics. Did you get this? Do we need that? No risk. No opening. And this keeps happening. In different ways. In different moments. You start holding back before anything even happens. Not after rejection. Before it. You adjust how you act. What you say. How close you get. Without talking about it. Without deciding it out loud. You just change it. Little by little. Until it becomes normal. You stop reaching. You stop testing. You stop putting yourself in that position. Because you already expect how it might end. And the same thing keeps repeating. Different day. Same hesitation. Same silence. Same distance. Nothing dramatic. Nothing obvious. But it keeps happening. This isn't random. Even Friedrich Nietzsche pointed to this. Repeated outcomes change what you're willing to do next. And that's exactly what's happening here. So next time you're about to move, you don't. Not because you don't want to, because you already learned what might happen. You try something. It doesn't land well. Maybe she pulls away. Maybe she says she's tired. Maybe she just doesn't respond. Nothing extreme, but your brain registers it. Next time you're in a similar moment, that memory is already there. You don't have to think about it. It just shows up. You're about to move closer. That small pause hits. Not because you're unsure what to do, but because you remember what happened last time. So instead of acting, you check. You look for signs. Is she in the mood? Is she distracted? Is this a good moment? If nothing is clearly positive, you don't move. That's where it shifts. Your behavior stops being direct. It becomes conditional. You don't act because you want to. You act only if everything looks safe. If she's already leaning in, if she's already giving something, if there's no risk of being turned down, and if that's not there, you hold back. So the order changes. Before, it was simple. You felt something, you acted. Now it's different. You feel something, you pause, you scan, you wait. And most of the time, you stop right there. Waiting becomes normal. You start expecting her to lead, to show interest first, to give you a clear signal, because that feels safer. But it also means nothing happens unless she starts it. And over time, you don't even notice you're doing it. You're not deciding to hold back. You just don't move. Because your brain is trying to avoid that same feeling again. So it slows you down. Adds checks. Adds hesitation. Until acting first no longer feels natural. It feels risky. At first, it just feels like you're being careful. You're not pushing. You're not making things awkward. You tell yourself it's better this way. But then small things start to build. You notice the hesitation more. That pause before you do anything. Even something simple, a touch, a comment. You second guess it. You hold it back. And after a while, that starts to get frustrating. Not at her, at yourself. Because you know you're not acting the way you used to. Then it spreads. You don't just hold back physically. You say less. You don't joke the same way. You don't flirt. You don't create those moments anymore. You keep things neutral, safe. You avoid anything that could be ignored or shut down. So conversations get flatter, shorter, more functional. And because you're doing less, you start expecting less. You stop thinking about closeness. You stop initiating anything that could lead to it. You avoid situations where it might come up. Not directly, but subtly. You stay on your side of the couch. You go to bed a bit later. You keep distance without saying it out loud. Then something shifts inside. You start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe this is just how it is. So instead of pushing back, you adjust again. Lower your expectations. Reduce your effort. And over time, you don't just act differently. You feel different. Less certain. Less direct. Less present. You're there, but not fully. Because part of you is always holding back. And the longer this goes on, the more normal it feels. Not because it's fine, but because you've gotten used to it. Used to doing less. Saying less. Being less. Without ever deciding to. You didn't plan this. You didn't decide one day to stop trying. It built slowly, from real moments. At the start, you acted normally. You reached for her. You made moves. You didn't overthink it. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, you brushed it off. But then it started happening more often. Not every time, but enough. Enough to notice. Enough to remember. So you adjusted. Not in a big way. Just small changes. You picked better timing. You tried to read the situation more. You told yourself, do it when she's relaxed. Do it when she's in a good mood. Don't push it. You were trying to do the right thing. Not pressure her. Not make it awkward. Not create tension. So you became more careful, more aware, more controlled. But the more you did that, the more you started avoiding that uncomfortable moment. That small rejection, that silence, that feeling after. So without saying it out loud, you began to protect yourself from it. You waited more. You checked more. You held back more. Because each time it didn't go well, it made the next attempt feel less worth it. So this isn't random. And it's not weakness. It's adaptation. You adjusted your behavior to avoid something that kept happening. You tried to handle it better, be smarter about it, be more respectful. But over time, that careful version of you kept growing, and the version that just acted started disappearing. Nothing changes if you keep adjusting the same way. You've already seen where that leads. More waiting, more silence, more distance. So the shift is simple, not easy, but simple. You stop trying to find the perfect moment. You stop scanning for signals. You stop waiting for it to feel completely safe. Instead, you act when you feel it. Small, direct, without building it up. You're on the couch. There's space. You close it. No pause. No internal check. Just a normal movement. You're in the kitchen. You come up behind her. Light touch. Nothing forced. No expectation attached to it. You're in bed. You turn toward her. You don't wait 5 minutes. You don't rehearse it. You just move. And if it doesn't go anywhere, you don't turn it into a bigger moment. You don't read into it. You don't shut down after. You just stop and continue like normal. That's the part that changes everything. You act without making the outcome mean something about you. Because right now, every attempt carries weight. It either confirms something or takes something away. So you hesitate. Remove that weight, and the hesitation drops. This doesn't mean forcing anything. It doesn't mean pushing past clear rejection. It means you stop overcorrecting your behavior before anything even happens. You bring back simple actions, simple contact, simple presence, without building a whole situation around it. No perfect timing, no waiting for signals, no running through outcomes in your head. You just act, then you adjust after, not before. Tonight, it will probably look the same. Lights off, her on her phone, that small space between you, and you'll feel that moment again. That split second where you decide, move or don't. But now you'll notice it. The pause, the check, the part of you waiting for a signal. You'll see how quickly you start adjusting. Before anything even happens. Maybe you still don't move. Maybe nothing changes right away. But you'll be aware of it. That's the difference. Because this isn't about one night or one attempt. It's in those small moments where you either act or hold back. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the next time it happens, you'll recognize it for what it is. Not the situation, not her reaction, but that split-second decision where you either stay where you are or do something about it.